This is an IGN exclusive match playthrough with commentary.
Welcome to Scavengers. I'm Josh Holmes, co-founder and creative director here at Midwinter.
And I'm Mary Olson, head of production at Midwinter. Before we get started, I just wanted to point out that this is an early in development version of Scavengers, so it's not the full launch. You might expect to see some bugs, some jank, some other weirdness in the footage that you're seeing here today. Today, Josh and I are going to show you two different approaches to a match in Scavengers, which will give you kind of an idea of what to expect when we launch into early access on April 28th. Scavengers is a strategic survival shooter that combines PvE and PvP gameplay, and in it, teams of 3 compete to collect the most data points while battling AI enemies and rival teams. The first thing you do in Scavengers is to scavenge. You explore the environment for weapons to take on AI enemies and opposing teams. So you can also find other useful items as well as scrap, which can be used to craft your explorer's equipment and signature weapon.
We have 7 playable explorers in the game right now, and each explorer comes with a unique special ability and a signature weapon, and that helps define their playstyle. So I'm playing as Cruz, and his special ability is Tailwind. And this gives him a huge speed boost and also leaves behind a slipstream of energy that speeds up nearby teammates. And we'll unlock Cruz's weapon a little later on in the match as we level up and collect scrap. Experimenting with different combinations of explorers and finding the right mix of skills and strengths adds an additional dimension to the game. Players are encouraged to experiment with team composition to find beneficial synergies between characters.
Collecting data points is the main objective in a Scavengers match. The team that extracts on the dropship with the most data points at the end of the game wins. You gain data points by killing enemies and finding data deposits. In addition to these data deposits, there are a number of other points of interest located around the map. After the initial scavenge phase, we move on to the main phase of the game, which we call the hunt. The hunt is for data points, AI enemies, rival teams, just depending on your playstyle. My team is focusing primarily on PvE. We're going to try to avoid teams for as long as we can. There's a small data shard nearby, so the higher the number of data points up for grabs, the tougher the challenge.
Alright, we're pushing in on an Outlander camp. Outlanders are the cannibalistic remnants of humanity that are left on the frozen planet, and their outposts are pretty well fortified. So you're going to run into shrikes, reavers, turrets, sniper nests, lots of different things to contend with. And it's really important to work together as a team so you don't get overwhelmed, especially early in the game.
Look down an Outlander.
Okay, not the best example, but I want to call out sliding here. Sliding is actually one of the fastest ways of traveling through the map. So not so great on flat wooden planks like this, but keep an eye out for it throughout the rest of the match.
Got my keeper on it.
Alright, I've just leveled up, so I'm going to craft an upgrade to my shields. And explorers can upgrade their shields up to 3 times per match, and that extra protection can make all the difference in the late game.
Today I'm playing as Vlora. Her special ability is an Aegis shield, which pops a defensive barrier that the whole team can use in a battle. I've now leveled up and collected enough scrap to build her signature weapon. This is the Devastator. It's a high-powered shotgun that packs a punch.
Right up.
Alright, so here we're in another Outlander camp, and we've spotted a rival team on our radar. So opposing players appear as red dots on your minimap up in the top left, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can avoid detection, like hiding in storm pockets or remaining stationary. But this team is in the middle of a fight with some Outlanders, so we can actually use that to our advantage and catch them off guard. Players drop data points when they're eliminated, so hunting down and wiping out rival teams is a solid strategy for securing more data points and dominating in a match. Of course, it can be a little risky. And with that, we've jumped to the top of the scoreboard.
We've just cleared out a Scourge nest and are currently extracting from a big data point deposit. Data is extracted using a keeper, which is a small robotic drone that accompanies each explorer on their expedition. The keeper can perform a number of different actions which are beneficial. So this includes extracting data, reconstructing vehicles, crafting your weapons and tools. When extracting data, keepers are vulnerable to enemy attacks, so players have to keep them protected until the extraction process is complete.
Ew.
We've gotten caught up in a storm. Climate is a big threat to explorers while they're down on the planet. Storms push through the map and close in around the playable space. The outer storm is similar to how a battle royale works, but even in the final stages of a match in Scavengers, there's still a significant size map for players to navigate. We also have other roaming storms that move through the map. You can avoid these by seeking shelter. Storms affect your temperature meter, which you can see on my HUD right now is at 0. When that happens, your health begins to freeze, and when it freezes over completely, you die.
Alright, so we've encountered another team. These guys are putting up a bit more of a fight. Alright, luckily our Halden has popped his curative aura abilities so we can heal up and regroup. Choosing when to deploy your abilities can be key to taking the advantage in any fight. And here I am, embarrassingly missing all my shots. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit to the end of the match so you can see how the end game plays out in Scavengers.
The storms are now at Cat 5, which is the harshest storm category and the last stage of the match. This is where the weather becomes too unstable to remain on the surface, and a dropship is sent for you to extract to safety. We've just encountered one of the game's bosses, Sluka. This is a huge, overpowering scourge that soaks up a tremendous amount of damage.
Taking down Sluka is hard work, but you gain big rewards for doing so. Alright, it looks like we're fighting over the same thing as Mary's team. We're in a battle now to see who can take down Sluka and clean up their data points. So a good tactic is to use the enemy as an environment against rival teams and then pick them off while they're weak. I can see Mary's running away here though. Alright, we're heading to the extraction zone. So this is randomized each time the dropship arrives. If we can get there early, we can push back other teams that are trying to board it, and then potentially even pick up some additional points by taking down opposing players. It looks like we've got a straggler here. Since we're in second place, we need all the data points we can get before the dropship takes off.
Dead. Me? Alive. You love to see it.
Meanwhile, we're regrouping and trying to stay out of the fight. Using crouch movement and staying quiet will prevent other teams from being able to spot you on the minimap, and this is a good opportunity to eat some food and recharge our stamina meter.
High-value objective completed.
Establishing data uplink.
Our team is in the lead, so we're going to head to a data uplink site to bank our points. Uploading data points at an uplink station takes time, but it secures your data so it can't be stolen by other teams. This will help us maintain a lead if we do get caught in a PvP skirmish at the dropship.
Until mission completion.
Oh, cool. We're almost at time. Needs to be harvested. I'll make that myself.
It's a beast.
We're coming up on the dropship now. Now, looking at the mini-map, there seems to be another team down here, so we're going to try and get the jump on them.
I have crafted items.
Okay, so that's a cryo grenade. We're going to want to avoid that because that's going to make us really cold and also slow us down.
Shuttle in 1 minute.
Reload my weapon.
We're going to try to sneak onto the ship in the last few seconds to take the win. There's a lot of action going on down by the ship, so it's going to be tough to sneak on unnoticed.
Lift off in 30 seconds.
We have to hurry. Time is almost up.
I'm going to pop my shield and hope for the best.
It's going to be tight.
Team eliminated at shuttle.
Look at that. We took down that team at the door and stole their data points, taking us to the top of the leaderboard.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we won! Alright, that was a pretty close game.
Fantastic.
Thanks to everyone for watching. Scavengers is free to play and enters early access for PC on April 28th. Go to playscavengers.com to learn more about the game and how you can get access.